welcome to another wonderful episode of Margaux with Margaux. Happy that you able to join me this evening. How was your weekend? I hope you had a wonderful weekend. It's been eventful and interesting. So let's just have a quick toast. We're going to think and have a moment of gratitude and drink a cup of Margaux, Margaux with Margaux, and say, thank you for a wonderful Monday. We made it through coronavirus and all. We're winners. Here we go. That was simply divine. We're going to do one more because we have to stay in for another 30 days. Another 30 days, but we can do it. So we just do one more sip because we got to do 30 days of this exciting, fun, stay in kind of stuff. That was lovely. So, first off, I just want to say thank you for taking the time to join me for this moment. I also want to address something that's really good to talk about, which is mental health, which is not the easiest subject to go into. But when you look at the onslaught of news, if you turn on the news, I'm a news junkie. I read everything. There's so much negativity. There was always negativity, correct? Don't get me wrong. It's so overwhelming. And the idea that you see a death toll every day can really suck a part of you away. I think it's important that if you have feelings of depression, it's okay to feel that way. If you have moments that you're just really pissed off, okay to feel that way. If you're sad, overwhelmed, feel helpless, all of those feelings are your human reaction to having your whole life completely torn from you. And also at the same time, feel really horrible for the people who have either lost family members or people who've passed, and all the people that are working on the front line. So, first off, it's okay to feel what you feel. And what I do is I always wake up with a positive attitude. Oh my God, until I start to watch the news, the death, the. So I give myself like 15, 20 minutes to get all my frustration out, meaning I just talk about it, get it all out of my heart. Once I'm able to get it off my chest, I now am ready to tackle the day. What do I need to do? What's going to happen next week? What's going to happen next week? Now, for a person like myself, A-type personality, I don't know if you guys are like that or not, that could be overwhelming because you really don't know what to do. And even though the president has given us this sort of slow to spread protocol for at least a month, now each state, each city are going to go ahead and have their own separate rules depending on how the coronavirus is spreading in that particular city or that particular state. So the rules are going to be varied and they're going to change. You understand that, and I understand that. But the idea that you have to sit 30 days is not an easy thing to grapple. So the best thing to do is to come up with an action plan. One, how do I stay informed? And first off, first question is, how do I take care of myself? What do I need to do financially? What do I need to do emotionally? What can I do physically? And you come up with a plan where your plan is one, I need to make some calls because I need to keep all my disposable income. Perhaps you're one of those people who've lost their jobs and is going through a really horrible time. You have to truly assess the situation. And I think you need to plan at least 3 months. They're saying stop the spread a month. Honestly speaking, you're going to have to do some really truthful, honest look at this and say, I need to plan out at least 90 days. What is my 90-day plan if I have when I go back to work? So my 30-day plan, what's my 6-month plan? Need to really look at the situation. And if you realize that your financial situation isn't going to work out for the next 6 months to a year, you need to figure out what you can do now to address it. I have no idea what that is. Each of you have your own personal lives to take care of. But the first thing is to be positive. One, you're here. Two, you're alive and you can work through this. You have to have that ability to understand where you are at the moment and have the faith and the confidence that you're going to make it through the next 30, 60, 90 days. None of it's easy, all of it's hard, but you always have to look on the other side. When I look at other people who are suffering more than I do, doctors and all of these people, I go, oh my God. And in fact, one point in my life, I wanted to be a doctor. Now, with this coronavirus, thank God I didn't become a doctor. I mean, I really love doctors. They're my friends. I love them and what they've sacrificed with their lives. But this is a whole nother level of sacrifice. And my God, thank you, thank you, thank you for everyone that's in the healthcare industry, whether you're a doctor, nurse, healthcare worker, even a janitor works in these hospitals, trying to keep everything clean, going to work, knowing how difficult this is something we need to really applaud to. Also, all the people that work in the stores and all the drivers and all these people that every day get up and fight and say, okay, today I got to take care of my family. Today I got to push forward and I got to make the best of my circumstance. This is easy. You may look at me and go, oh, she has it easy. I do have a nice life. That's true. But for the most part, I do understand how negative thoughts, negative feelings can overwhelm you. Take the time out. Spend 20 minutes in the morning by yourself in prayer. Prayer always helps because I'm always grateful. I always ask God, I always say this to myself, God, I'm grateful, I'm here. What can I do for you? So the first thing, once you've taken care of yourself, you've made your plan, you know how you're going to exercise, you're going to change your eating, you're going to figure out how to take care of your health mentally. First person to take care of is you. Once you've figured out your plan of attack, because you can't let this get you down, you got to have an attack. That's the way to do it. How can I take? So if you get the depression feelings, who do I call? You have to manage it all. Set up a group call with all your friends, family, coworkers, anybody. Create a new group, just a chit chat group. Call it Suzanne's Happy Hour. You guys all get together and drink on beer and look at Zoom and just laugh at the day. Anything to keep you mentally in the moment and where you're able to function and carry out your life. That's really, really important. Once you get all that done, you take care of yourself, you mapped out a plan for yourself, you mapped out a plan for your family. How are you going to manage the next 30, 60, 90 days? You have a plan. Have your own plan. As much as we could depend on the government, on the city council, everybody else, you individually come up with your own game plan for your own mental, psychological well-being. Cross it off your list. Next thing you need to do is you can't feel sorry for yourself. Now you have a plan. You're not a victim. You have a plan. Next thing is, how can I help? There's lots of ways you can help. You could give blood. Find out if you are healthy. Go get blood. Write down organizations that you can call and ask if they need your help. Now, obviously, you don't want to expose yourself to coronavirus, but I found the best way to handle all of this is to be of some use. And feel as though you're making a difference. Feel as though you're a soldier fighting coronavirus and you have a group of people that you're fighting with. Find your path and what you can do that's positive. Perhaps it's calling one of your great aunts that you haven't spoken to a while. Maybe you have two siblings that are fighting. You say, you know what? I'm going to do something really positive. I'm going to get my brother and my sister on the phone right now, and I'm going to bring that relationship together. Heal relationships. Figure out another way, maybe build a new career around us. Study psychology. This is a perfect time to study psychology because now you understand what we're up against because you have to control your mind, your thoughts, and your well-being. Very, very important to start out with that mindset. Very important. So if you got that, okay. One more simple one, and we're going to talk about a little bit of coronavirus, TV shows and movies and all the other fun stuff. But most importantly, I wanted to tell you you're important. So if you're feeling depressed, unhappy at this very second, I'm looking you right in the eye. Hi. Take care of yourself. Really important to value yourself. Your life has meaning. You're here for a purpose. God loves you. Figure out that part. Now that we got that done, let's talk about a little bit more coronavirus. A glass of wine. And here we go. Whoops. So, sorry about that. I kind of moved the wine a little bit there. So someone was asking me, one of the people were asking me about this picture above the fireplace, and they said, "Is that Jennifer Lopez?" Yes, it is. I'll give you a quick story how this all came about. Is I was at the Forensic Art Fair in Los Angeles. I'm an art collector. I also an art connoisseur, and I broker art deals. So if you have a Picasso or a Monet or anything like that, I'm one of those people that do it very, very delicately. But that's a whole other industry to talk about. But I was at the Frizzy Art Fair, and I was invited by Deutsche Bank, which, oh my God, is an incredible bank that's been wanting to do business with my husband and I for many years, and we get invited. So it was a private VIP event. Jennifer Lopez was there. A-Rod was there. It was on Valentine's Day on the 14th on a Friday, if you guys remember that, way before the coronavirus hit. Oh my God, what a life I had before coronavirus. But anyway, so I saw Jennifer Lopez. Now, if you watched the show prior, I was always explaining how great of I think she's a great actress. I actually do. I think her acting as Selena was great. I thought her performance in Hustler was wonderful. And I thought, okay, she deserves an Academy Award nomination, at least, if not a win. I really wanted her to win for Best Supporting Actress for the movie The Hustler. So here I was 2 weeks talking about, and coincidentally, I ran into her, got to tell her I loved her performance, and I got a picture. And very nice. I want to thank Jennifer for taking the time out. There were a lot of people around. And when you're as popular as her, you have everybody kind of hovering, you know, how people hover around celebrities. And for her to take the time out, talk to me, and take the picture, just say hello, I thought was very gracious and very wonderful. So just a little shout out for Jennifer Lopez, if she does watch. But anyway, guys, I want to share that little tidbit with you. Also, I want to talk about a little bit more about the coronavirus, which I think is really, really important. So you guys know, of course, President Trump mentioned yesterday to stop the spread extension all the way up until April 30th. Today was the 15th day, 30 day. Now, keep in mind, they may even extend this 45 days, 60 days, 90 days, depending on what's going on in the country. The issue they have is the number of deaths. If they can somehow slow down the number of people that are dying and the number of people that are contracting, which I think as testing goes on, I'm sure you realize there's just not enough tests for everyone. They only want certain groups to test, and there's just not enough available yet, even though they've ramped up, even though they're working very, very hard to get all these tests out. It is a challenge. It's important. All of a sudden, I got really hot. Sorry about that. But it's important to go ahead and find out about the test. I don't know what it is. All of a sudden, I got really hot. Okay. So anyway, if you need a test and you feel you need one, and it's you have the symptoms, which I'm going to go over right now. Some of the symptoms are the following: trouble breathing, persistent pain and pressure on the chest, confusion, also blush lips or face. If you have any of these symptoms, I recommend either calling your doctor directly if they're not as serious, they're mild symptoms, and see if you can get in for testing. If it's serious, don't hesitate, call 911. Just make sure it is serious, because obviously there's so many people calling 911. It's something they've been discussing and talking about. According to what Donald Trump, I don't know, did you guys watch a press briefing today? I think it's important to watch a press briefing yourself, because I watch it completely myself, and then I read about it later. It's like a different interpretation. So it's important to just spend the time, either go to the White House website, you could view it online, and look at it yourself if you really want to get that information firsthand, which is what I like to do. They've tested over 1 million people so far, and obviously more tests are coming out. They have the 15-minute test. They got the 5-minute test. It's just a matter of getting those tests out to people, which is something that they're working on. Now, I also really think is smart is that the president's giving you sort of a transparent view of how he's seeing the situation. One, the economy is horrible. Lots of people unemployed. And obviously by next week, more and more people, millions of people are unemployed. And two, how do you get the testing out? How do you get the right people to get tested, save lives? How do you address the issue of people getting sick? How do you get them better? How do you get a vaccine? All of those things are on front. You really feel like he's got all those things moving forward. So we'll see how they go. Depending if you're on the right side of politics or left side of politics, you'll have your own interpretation of what's going on. That's why I think it's important to watch your press briefing and you draw your own conclusions. There are a lot of proven. FDA just approved of a new anti-malaria drug, which is hydroxychloroquine and chloroquine, to be distributed in hospitals across the country. FDA just approved that today. Another good thing is diet and exercise, which I always mention is really critical and important. Also, keep in mind the virus can stay on certain substances a long period of time. Aluminum, it can stay on for 2 to 4 hours. Surgical gloves, 8 hours. Steel, 48 hours. Important to note, clean, clean, clean. If you're out in the public, you can go to the store. I recommend washing your clothes. I recommend wiping down the steering, wiping down the door handles, wiping down the door, refrigerator door, microwave door. Every single place your hand touches, wipe down. I also recommend wearing a mask. One of the best reasons of wearing it, you can't touch your face. So if you're out in public touching stuff, how can you touch your face if you have a mask on? So that's something really important to try and do as well. I'm also going to mention there are 3 websites to get information from. The best one is the new one that went up about a week and a half ago. It's www.coronavirus.gov. If you're a small business person, you want to get a loan. Now, keep in mind, these are forgivable loans. You don't have to pay the government back. Go ahead and apply right away. If you haven't, please do. They also mention a lot of different information about the coronavirus in general, all the update information, really important to look at. That's the coronavirus.gov. Obviously, there's a www.cdc.gov, and there's also www.nih.gov as well. All of those sites are really informative, very good to look at. So go check those out. Another one is the World Health Organization, www.who.int. Those are 4 websites: nih.gov, coronavirus.gov, cdc.gov, and who.int. Those are 4 great websites to get information from. I recommend getting that information from those websites. If it's not through a reputable source, get the information the right way. Also, news stories. Because coronavirus is such a hot news story, and obviously our lives are up in it, impacted in so many different ways. A lot of news is just trying to grab your information, grab attention. So always check the source, always do your research, really investigate who's reporting what, so you have a better idea of what's going on. I always question everybody. So question the source, question everything, and see if this is the best information for yourself. Now, if you go to coronavirus.gov, FEMA has great information there about the loan program, what you can do. Other people that I like to listen to, I like Dr. Oz. He's everywhere on television. He's always has great information. Also, I like Scott Adams. Scott Speaks. If you can go, he has his own show, podcast. He's on Periscope, Twitter, the whole bit. You can find some more information about him as well. Now we're into the juicy part. I got all the coronavirus stuff out of the way. Aren't you happy? I'm going to take a really quick sip of wine. I have no idea why I'm suddenly got hot. I think it's all the excitement. It's Monday, right? Another wonderful week. This is my 11th week, 12th week doing the show. I started the show on January 15th, so probably about 10 weeks in. So I just want to say thank you. Okay, here we go. Now I got all the coronavirus information I want to share with you at this point. So much information out there. Let's get to the really good stuff. Did you guys watch Ozark? Okay. So Ozark came out on Friday. Do you know what our Ozark is? It's a show on Netflix about a family who gets caught up in the Mexican cartel. Unbelievable story. First 2 seasons are available on Netflix, so you can see the first 2 seasons, but the 3rd season came out Friday. I already went through 10 episodes. The story is gripping. I can't give anything away, but see one episode. Have you seen Ozark? Run to see Ozark. If you love family drama mixed in with the Mexican cartel thriller, this story is for you. One episode, you'll be hooked. I told my sister about it last year. I said, hey, watch Ozark. She said, okay. 2 days later, I called her. I said, hey, how did it go? Oh, we're almost finished the 2nd season. That's how addicting the show is. And she has her own company. She dropped everything to see the show. So it's a really good show to watch. is Ozark. Another interesting tidbit is I have been really into these pandemic movies. Contagion. Oh my God. It feels like what's going on right now. Really creepy, really interesting, very good. Next one I saw was Outbreak. Oh my God, Outbreak. Another thriller. The last one I saw was World War Z. Now, that one, that's a little off. You know, if you see a little bit about it, everybody becomes kind of biting and eating each other. It's really, really gross, really profound. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if you should see that one. That was a really, really creepy. I have no idea why I'm seeing pandemic films. I know it's crazy. I got a list of the best pandemic films decided to see. Maybe it made me feel good because I realized we're not World War Z. It isn't Contagion, because if you saw Contagion, I can't tell you. It is an Outbreak. Ours is bad, but it's not as bad as these. And I think somehow that made me feel more comforted that it wasn't the end of the world, end of the world. And it made me feel a little bit better, which I thought was quite interesting. As a side note, oh, my hands are doing a lot of waving today. I have no idea why I'm doing that new mannerism, but I am going to start my own podcast, YouTube channel. All those wonderful things are going to come soon. You're probably thinking, boy, she drinks a lot of Margaux. Well, I don't drink that much Margaux. Sometimes I have like 2 sips or a cup or a glass, but it's kind of fun. So I'm thinking, what would be fun to do in your house is to create your house like you're at a vacation spot. Pretend you're in Spain. Pretend you're in, go online and read everything about Spain and visualize yourself there. I had a friend at a beautiful resort and he lived right on the beach. It was beautiful. I walked down, stayed at his house, loved it. You just come down to the beach. So when I have my bad moment, I picture myself laying at the beach, not a care in the world. I'm alive. I'm here. I'm healthy. I'm strong. And life is a beautiful thing. That's what I think. And it helps me get through those little moments where you just like, I don't know what I'm doing. But another side note, I'm an investor. We are looking for disruptive technology. If you have any disruptive technology, now when I mention disruptive technology, people go, what is that? That means anything that's going to change millions of people's lives for the better through technology. It could be blockchain, it could be robotics, it can be machine learning, it can be blockchain. What else? AI. Any of those subject matters can be, as long as it changes and changes people's lives for the better and changes humanity lives. So if it changes 30,000 people's lives, it's not good enough. Million. Call me. No, I wouldn't say call me. Email my assistant, graysonky@gmail.com. graysonky@gmail.com. GRAYSONKK@gmail.com. If you missed that, go to my Twitter handle, go to all my Facebook and Instagram and all that good stuff. You should be able to find a way to reach me because I have that information everywhere. And it's through my company, Monet Capital Funding. Also, as a side note, I have a film and TV company. I'm working on some really great projects. Can't do anything yet with them, but I'm getting them ready. So when we do get a chance to get things moving again, I'll be ready for that. Use this time to do a new startup of you, right? Do an upgrade of you. For instance, you're somewhere in your life, you go, I'm going to do an upgrade. There's some things I've always wanted to do, research, play around with ideas, share them with friends, get a chat going, maybe a group if you get together and talk about movies. Maybe you get together and talk about business ideas. Find a way to connect with other humans so we all don't feel alone. It's easy to feel isolated. Watching the news and feel isolated is like the worst thing you can do for your mental health. There's only so much cleaning you can do. I mean, how many counters can you wipe down and how many times you wash your hands? Which I do obsessively, by the way. Find a way to be creative. Maybe start to paint. Maybe start reading about great artists and great writing. I'm just started reading about Carl Jung. Now, I read about Carl Jung when I was taking a lot of psychology courses years ago and decided I want to learn about Carl Jung. And apparently he wrote this book called The Red Book. I have no idea. It's about archetypes. And it wasn't published. So I'm now on this research. I always have to keep my mind active on why he wrote this book. You know, he relates the unconscious, and all of our unconscious is connected together. We're all part of this being and this place, which is a really interesting read. And Freud was another, and Jung worked for Freud. So that's the kind of subject matter that I'm focused on at the moment. I was focused on some other business stuff. I've kind of halted that a little bit. I'm in 7 different industries and work a lot. But those things are on hold because, quote unquote, coronavirus has changed my life. Has it changed it for the better? In some ways, I think it has. It made me aware of how grateful I was that I could do so much. And it made me aware of how grateful I have great friends, great family. And I just am excited that I decided to do this show because I have you and we're friends, right? You can always follow me. You can always connect with me. You're my friend and you guys are great. Um, I just want to thank you for joining me for another wonderful episode of Margaux with Margaux. I love you guys. See you tomorrow at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Take care.
That's better how I do it.
Oh.